Hey everybody, it's Eddie J on Crypto for GrowMyBag.tv. Hope you're having a good one. What's good? So I had a lot of people start to ask me about AI, right? And not just AI from a what is it perspective, but AI from an economic impact perspective. Like, what does it mean when companies start talking about AI, right? You're talking about unemployment rates that could be the highest ever seen. White collar starter jobs, about 20% gone, right? And we'll get into, how they go away and what could replace them. Accelerated advancement is bringing all this on. You have complex cognitive functions that AI can possibly replace, that is replacing as of today. Routine information processing is another thing. And you're going to see certain professions like, lawyers, accountants, a lot of things that are going to hit different. Yo, big dog, Mr. Big, what's going on? What's good? So looking at AI, there's a lot that goes on in that space, right? Everybody hears about, large language models and natural language processing and, images and videos being created on the fly, things like that. Let's take a step back, and maybe I should give you a couple of bullet points that we've collected, right? There's a rapid adoption of AI and automation and robotics that's going to affect many different occupations. Hello, Paula, and thank you for letting me know that your investment in yourself is not completed. Because, if you're here and listening to this, obviously you're still learning. It's not like you turn it off. You know what I mean? Just thought it'd be a pain in your tail today. Just because, I feel like it. And I'm going to be like that with everybody. Now, let me get to some facts. Global workforce and AI-driven job displacement. Global working population as of 2023 is about 3.8 billion people, right? And that's as of the World Bank. That's coming from the World Bank, letting us know what's going on out there. McKinsey estimates that 14% of the global workforce, approximately 532 people, may need to switch occupational categories by 2030. We're in the middle of 2025 right now. So by 2030, I want you to think about that rapidity, that rapid implementation, adoption, and usage of AI, robotics, automation that's going to just hit the market. When you think about 23 million people, 23 million U.S. workers, about 14% of the U.S. workforce may face job displacement. Just saying. You're looking at key sectors like manufacturing, transportation and logistics, administrative support, technology, even professional services. Like I said, accounting, lawyers. So you start to see what the impacts are. Let's get into, how, if I was looking at a law firm, how can I save money? Right now, paralegals do the bulk of the research, the bulk of the filling out of forms. That right there is the bulk of it. Now, what's the importance of all of that? The importance of all of that is that it teaches those attorneys so that they go up the ladder. Now, if you take away that rung from the ladder, you've got to start with experience. How do you get that experience? That would mean that instead of getting paid to do a whole bunch of research, you're going to have to go do a lot of research on your own, right? Just to get to this rung. And the problem with that is your research wasn't used in actual cases. You would have to present your research that could, like, as a simulation. And when you think about, oh, well, that's not going away. Well, that's not happening. That's happening right now. It's happening right now. Right? Hey, Fatima. So you've got McKinsey and Company, huge top consulting firm, known for its presentations, its thought processes, that whole basis of information that gets put to use for that one client. You've got a ton of stuff that happens, but that research happens with low-level consultants. In the time that it takes my low-level consultant to pull all of that together, hours and hours and hours and days and weeks to pull something together, I can have AI do it in minutes. Not even in minutes. I mean, we're talking my initial research will come back as good or better than that person's research. Then what's the next step? You pull all of that together. Hey, Teresina, how are you? How are you today? That's my cuzzo. So when you look at artificial intelligence, Max Salas was really good. When you look at artificial intelligence and automation, I want you to put this together. My team, for what we do, have put together a whole publishing ecosystem where I come up with what I'm interested in, what my views and perspectives are. Oh, that's funny. That's cute. I just got a text message from a spammer saying that I did something and I should call them to give them my information. Oh, that's so cute. I am going to call them. And I'm going to have fun. But, here's what's crazy. I can actually use AI to find out about that phone number so that when I call them, I have extra information to hit them with. Yeah, you see how that goes? Yeah, because I'm a deviant like that. So let's get back to what we're talking about here. Our publishing system will take, let's say, my article. I have a view, I have a perspective, I have a sentiment about a given topic. I have my own insights about that topic, and everything's a bullet. Boom, 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 boom. Here are my facts. I put it through my system. My system has my writing style. Now, I want you to think about this. My writing style. I've put out an inordinate amount of the types of pieces that I put out. I put out proposals, I put out recommendations, I put out books, I've put out just so many different things. So AI has someplace to go for my writing style, for a given thing. Personal, professional, right? It knows my voice for a given situation. So I hand over all that information to our system, and our system says, I got you, Eddie. I'm going to come up with this article. I'm going to come up with this image for that article. Then I'm going to come up with the summary, the too long didn't read bullet points. Those are the bullet points that show up at the top of an article, so that if you don't have time to read the whole article, they're giving you the salient points up front. It comes up with that for me. Like I said, it comes up with the summary. It comes up with the clickbait title. Whether I like it or not, I can go back and I can fix everything. But it then presents to me all of that and says, would you like to move forward, or would you like me to change any one of these pieces? That took seconds. To come up with that text, it took seconds. It takes my system about anywhere, depending on how long I want it to be, anywhere between 10 and 30 seconds to pull all of that together. Okay? Just to give you a roundabout idea. And I'm talking about including the artwork, because as it's coming up with this, it's also simultaneously coming up with the artwork. So I'm getting two pieces from the one chunk of information. Once I approve all that information, it then goes back into the system and says, oh, he likes that summary. He likes the title. Let's run with this. It then creates the audio for all of that. Then it takes the image, the audio, muxes that together. That's the technical term of merging audio and visuals to create video. And it's ready for the video. Then automation kicks in and says, oh, snap, I have all this information. Let me post this up on Grow My Bag. Let me take these videos and post them up across social media, all pointing back to Grow My Bag. That is how quick I can bang something out. And by the way, if you guys have questions, I will be paying attention right here. I'm happy. You don't have to put that kind of information here, just so you know. Have fun. So when you look at all of that information and everything that goes forward, right? I've now created an article summary, bullet points, even the hashtags, right? That my system then uses later on when I want to pull things together, and creates the audio for it. I do have my voice recorded. It knows my voice. It can recreate my voice. It can simulate my voice. But I don't want it delivered via my voice. I have other voices that I can use that all are representative of Grow My Bag, and we can get that information out there. So imagine. And by the way, to create the video, it's another, I want to say 30 to 40 seconds. So that whole pile of information, my thoughts, my opinions, my salient points, all given to you across several different mediums as information, happens, the actual work happens within the span of less than 1 minute. How long do you think it would have taken me to write that article? I'm really good. I can type decently fast, even with I can type decently fast. But then you've got to do the artwork. Remember, the artwork is happening at the same time. Okay? And I'm telling you all this so that you understand that this is how fast things are happening. So how many people did I not hire because I have all of this in place? Yeah. Normally I'd be hiring reporters. I'd be hiring graphic designers, right? It would have taken one reporter, one graphic designer, and hours of research for information. I gave you the bullet points. I gave you the salient points. I gave you my opinion. I've identified other places that you can pull for either pro information or con information, right? And you can put together this robust article, image, all this stuff. Boom, done. Less than 60 seconds. Less than 60 seconds. How many people did I pay? Jack. I paid nobody. How much money would I have paid for all of that? Depending on how long it would have taken. It could have cost me hundreds, thousands of dollars. Let's say hundreds. Right? I'd have to carry those employees, right? Or independents, right? And there you go. That's how things can change. That's how fast, quickly things can change. The research that low-level attorneys do happens in minutes rather than hours, days. Number crunching that accountants do, oh my God, that's why computers were made. But now I can ask AI to say, here are all of my numbers. Please put together my taxes or my quarterly reports, my reporting for the board of directors, blah, 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 all from this chunk of information. It will be done and presented to me in minutes, if that long. If that long. So when I hear people talk about, AI is going to take jobs and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. It can. Or it can enhance your ability to do those jobs. Because at the end of the day, I still needed to come back and read everything that was presented to me, make my changes, tell it to do whatever, and then it comes back to me and I finally get to a point where I'm approving. There still had to be human intervention there. What if you're the human intervention? What if you're the paralegal? What if you are the attorney? What if you are the accountant that can then say, I can use AI to analyze your business's numbers, and it turns out your business makes enough money to take advantage of these tax write-offs and not just the traditional ones that you've been taking advantage of. Not all accountants know everything that's out there. They only know what they use for their group of clients. So you've got high-end accountants that know a whole bunch of stuff, but it's geared toward the high-end person, the wealthy, which would never be applicable down here, right? And you have accountants down here, CPAs down here, that know a whole bunch of stuff that can happen down here, but have forgotten about all of that stuff. That's AI. That's automation. I can have AI and automation feed me my information from across the internet in a kind of 360 perspective, so I can gain, here are the facts, here's the corroborating information, here are the links to the corroborating information, or here are the links to information that disproves other information. And I can then evaluate, well, where'd you get this? Where'd you get that? Who's the author of this? Who's the author of that? What namespace did these come from? All that stuff. But I get to do it way faster. So I can take that in and learn how to use that to my advantage. So at my job, I can go like this instead of being pushed out like that. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. An AI class for training sure would be great. Can we get through this one? So Cuzzo asked me, hey, Cuzzo, how can you've set up several different nodes for your organization to do so many different things. Can I set up AI in my house? Possibly. Give me the specs on your computer and I can tell you whether or not you can do it. But that wasn't the point. The point is, she asked that question after I explained to her, hey, check this out. There's AI that you pay for. ChatGPT, other things, Grok, all this stuff. There are ones that you pay for, and then there are ones that you don't pay for. Then there are ones that are hosted by somebody else, and then the ones that are hosted by you. The difference being, if I use, let's say, ChatGPT, because everybody's familiar with that. Let's say I use ChatGPT. What am I doing? I'm giving my thoughts, my information to ChatGPT, and I'm training their model. I'm helping to fine-tune their model. If I ask it questions, if I do this, I do that, blah, 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 blah. It's taking all of the information in and then giving me, hopefully, what I want out. But that data becomes theirs. If I do that locally, all of that information, all of that thought process, all of those creations are mine. They stay here. I had a conversation with one of my best friends in the world, my friend Lisa. She has a son. And her son has got to be one of the most talented artists I've ever seen. And I'm an old man. I've seen a lot of artists. Intellectual property, Teresina, you nailed it. Intellectual property is not just valuable, it's almost invaluable. Give me a minute and I'll get to that. So CJ does not like AI whatsoever. And they say that all animators do not like AI, period. And I'm sitting here and I'm going, do they understand the difference between hosted AI and self-hosted AI? Those terms should be kind of familiar to you. You should be asking yourself, where have I heard this before? Custody and non-custody, custodial and non-custodial. They're holding my coin versus me holding my coin. See where this is going? User sovereignty. It's about user sovereignty. It's about understanding this information is yours and you do not have to share it with the world. If you create your own LLM or large language or AI solution in-house that you control, all of it is yours. Whatever you do with it, yours. Whatever it gives you, yours. It's not shared with the outside world. That's what I mean. It's just like I buy crypto. Rick Ritchie, how are you, my brother? I'll get to you in a second. It's just like somebody holding your crypto for you, not your keys, not your crypto, versus you holding your crypto yourself. Feel me? You are in control. You don't have to worry about that company going out of business. You don't have to worry about that company being hacked. You don't have to worry about any of that because you hold your crypto. You have your own security things that you have to take care of, but you hold your crypto. That's huge. So if I have my own AI set up in my own home or my own office, that's mine. The data that I feed into it, the data that I give it access to is still mine. You want to know how much that costs compared to using a ChatGPT, a Gemini, a Grok, or Perplexity, or whatever else is out there? Goose egg. You're going to have to buy some equipment one time, and every now and then you'll have to upgrade. That's it. But $30 a month for this, $50 a month for that, $20 a month for... You see where that's going, right? So there's the economic impact. But imagine you're a project manager, another position or profession that's going to get hit hard by AI. Imagine if you were that person and you had your own AI set up at home and you learned how to leverage AI to your best advantage. You would then be able to bring that to your customers, right? To your projects, right? Sounds interesting. So, I just want to make sure I haven't missed anybody's questions. Go for Tima. Are you saying that you want a class on actually setting up your own AI node and things like that? Because if you are, we can talk about that. Can you train the AI to pull sources from the internet, but tailored to yourself? So you're talking about two different things. One is automation. I can say, hey, let me go get the news from, let's say, Reuters, Wall Street Journal, New York Times, blah, 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 frickin' blah, right? And I pull all that together, and now I've got that information. I can go read it. That's automation. But are you really asking me, can I pull all of that information, give it to AI, have AI parse through it all, give me the salient points for each given topic, show me the common threads, if any, right? See where this is going? And then, by the way, here's my portfolio. Tell me if there's any impact that could happen against my portfolio. Yeah, Grow My Bag is going to be able to do that. But, yeah, you could do that. Yeah, I'm already doing that. So am I going to open that up to everybody else when we launch? Probably. The credit card system is up and running. We've got crypto payments, we have credit card payments, and I think we finished integrating PayPal yesterday on the completely new platform, right? And all of that was held up because we had an email problem. But forget all that. All of it done, and now we'll be turning on the new site shortly. But there's a lot of automation that happens on the site. A lot of automation that happens for me that helps me grab information. So not only do I have AI go out there and grab information on my behalf, but I also have my own litany of resources that I personally read every day. I flip, I skim, I look, I grab. I become familiar with the topics. I become familiar with everything. Because if I don't, then what happens? Then AI is just handing me a script. Go read. I become a talking head, like most of the people on television. I just become a talking head. So I maintain my own knowledge by going through things and knowing and understanding things, right? Doing my own research. because I can have AI do it, but AI can get things wrong. Aha. AI can get things wrong. So now that I'm familiar with everything, when I come back to AI's research, I can go, no, no, yes, 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 no, yes, no, yes. Quickly. One process helps me to speed up the other process, which helps me speed up the other process. Combined processes help me to become knowledgeable, even more so. Builds up my database of information, both here and physical, right? And that's what helps me move forward. And I get to do this ridiculously fast. It takes me about 15 minutes every day. That's why I tell you guys 15 minutes is a minimum. So in the morning, I'm spending my 15 minutes scrolling through, tapping, reading. My educational career was built on only identifying salient points. Remember when you sat down in class and they handed you a yellow highlighter and you went through and you went, your teacher told you to pick out the main points? I've honed that skill over years because I do it every day. Bianca in his house. That's right. Rick Ritchie, you nailed it. Trust but verify your AI. Now, a lot of companies are out there. They're stumbling into AI. They're doing all kinds of weird things, right? For me, I've built in controls that force human interaction and verification throughout the process. That's what happens. It's just that it's faster to review than it is to do. The difference is that I know what the facts are. I have a whole research process that happens long before I see anything that's presented to me. And why is that? It's because I learned how to use AI. All of this is to give you an example that, holy smokes, Eddie actually understands AI. Artificial intelligence is not what you think it is. It doesn't know everything. It's an algorithm that has read over tons and tons of, take Encyclopedia Britannica. I'm that old. Put all those books into AI, and AI has read everything. AI can now guess what your next word could be, should be in this context. That's the algorithm. It's not that it knows, it's that it's guessing the next logical word. The chances of this word being next versus this word, based on the information that I've learned from. Aha. So when they talk about AI helping you write code and write applications, it knows if I call a function, immediately following that function is a squiggly bracket, then I enter, there's a whole bunch of stuff, and then it ends with a closing squiggly bracket. It knows down to that level. But here's how it learned how to do that. It's read every book known about Java, let's say, about C#, about quality assurance. So it's got a lot of things that it can say, well, the chances of this word being a function when you're talking to me about Java is going to be high, followed by a bracket, followed by all the code that goes into that function, followed by a closing bracket. Then I just have to make sure that all my code that I've given is correct. So I ask myself again, is it correct? Then I present it to the end user that's writing the code. See how that works? But it's guessing. Okay, it's guessing. The next step in AI, and by the way, you've had AI in your lives for years. Before it became at your fingertips, you've had AI at your fingertips for years. Google's been run off of AI for eons. Whenever you talk about, oh, well, you got to trick the algorithm. It's the algorithm. It's the algorithm. It's AI. It's AI. It's AI. So it can adjust on the fly. Then, you ever go into a store, you ever talk to one of your friends and they want to buy something and they tell you the price that they are getting, and then you go look at the price that you're getting and the prices are different? Personalized pricing. Because they've got data on you, especially Amazon, that can say, oh, we know what you buy. We know when you buy it. We know how much you buy. We know blah, 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 blah. We can give you personalized pricing. We think that you're going to be willing to spend $100 versus spending $80. So I can get that personalized pricing. Aha. You want to screw people up? Have other people buy things for you. You just give them the money. Bounce between how are you going to do this? See what, do it for all your friends. See what kind of numbers you're going to get. But AI has been in your life for longer than you think. It's just that now it's at your fingertips. Oh, but you have to pay them to do it. Or if you've got a gaming machine, it most likely has an AI capable GPU in it. First step. So if you've got an AI GPU, like my son has a computer game upstairs or has his gaming station upstairs, he's using the same card that I have. When he stops having time for games, do you think daddy's not going to go upstairs and snatch that computer and then immediately have another node? We've got geographically dispersed AI nodes around the country. Hopefully soon around the world. But those globally dispersed, systems enable me to do a whole bunch of things on the fly ridiculously quickly. But you've got to learn about AI. I still haven't seen a lot of questions, which I'm amazed I'm not seeing a lot of questions. AI can help you or AI can hurt you. There will be a massive amount of displacement when it comes to AI and automation. AI isn't just something that happens alone. I need research to be done every day, all day. And maybe 3-4 times a day, I'm going to want to have a report given to me. My morning report, my afternoon report, my nighttime report. And then send me a ding on something that carries a risk factor this high or a positive factor of this high, meaning it's going to affect your portfolio like this. So I want all my portfolio driven information given to me immediately. Bitcoin is flying up. I need to get up. I need to start making calculations. Bitcoin is flying up. It seems like these are the reasons why it's flying up. And this is what you might want to do to pay attention to that. That's the kind of level stuff that I'm doing right now. I just haven't opened it up to the world yet. Now, mind you, that there's nothing spectacular about that except that, it'll be given to regular people, whereas large companies have that happen all day. There's a movie called Other People's Money. Okay, it's with Danny DeVito and a couple other people. Gregory Peck is in that movie. When you go watch the movie. It's a funny, cute little movie, but it's a movie that really tells you what's going on. Danny DeVito rolls over in bed. There's a computer that he's named. I forgot the name. And he clicks a button, and she gives him all of his information that he needs for the morning. They were talking about AI back then. What's that, like the 80s? And people think, wow, oh my gosh, we've got AI. It's been around for a long time. Then you've got robotics. You used to go to Amazon manufacturing, not Amazon manufacturing, but Amazon businesses, and you would see, my reporting seems to have stopped. I don't know why. But you would go to an Amazon warehouse and see a ton of people pulling things, doing things, conveyor belts. They would be pulling things, doing things. And slowly but surely, those people started to become less and less and less. Why is that? Because robots. And don't think of robots as a humanoid-looking thing. Think of robots as a pallet mover. This low-level, low-to-the-ground thing would maneuver itself around the factory, slide underneath the pallet, pick up the pallet and move it to wherever that pallet needed to be, and then it would put it down and go back to its charging station or to the nearest charging station. But that used to be a person on a forklift. Oh, damn. So now I've got several of these pallets coming in. How many people do I need on a forklift? Somewhere between Jack and 0. It's already affecting jobs. You just didn't see it. Why? Because now it's affecting white-collar jobs. Let me give you some facts. All right. Manufacturing, about 8% or 13 million workers will be affected by it. Transportation and logistics, about 5% or 8 million people will be affected. Administrative support, about 6% of U.S. workers, about 10 million people. Notice how I'm not even going into technology yet. And I don't think I am going to go into technology. You've got automation of specific tasks, customer service, chatbots. Will wind up automating about 30% of customer service tasks, level 1 globally. In the United States, it'll affect about 2 million customer service roles, about 15% of the 13 million U.S. workers in this sector. It's going to wipe out level 1. You have level 1, 2, 3. Actually, you have level 0, level 1, level 2. Level 0 has been gone. It doesn't even exist anymore. Then you've got level 1, 2, 3. Level 1, gathering the basic information, having you walk through certain steps, blah, 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 blah. And then just before you get frustrated, it kicks you to level 2, human being. But that human being now has everything that you've already done. All they want to do is verify that you've actually done it. And then they're off doing the next level work. What do they have next to them? A knowledge base built from AI. They can ask it, hey, had this problem, have you seen this? Pretty soon, that thing is going to be replaced by AI learning all that. And it'll be pushed down to, again, level 1. See how it learns and grows from itself? That's what I'm talking about. So, reskilling needs. A Deloitte report. 30 to 50% of U.S. workers may need to reskill or upskill by 2030. Remember, I led with that. My man, Lex Luthor, Shabbat Shalom, my brother. So, when you think about this, I'm going to have to reskill or relearn. I am a project program portfolio manager by trade. I'm an agile scrum master. Agilists bite the bullet. That's going to be over in a quick matter of time, and it'll be a blink. Right now, if you look, there's not an abundance of jobs for scrum masters. That experiment has crashed and burned, and companies are beginning to realize it. They're not running agile. They're running a waterfall situation using agile words. Teresina, let me know if you agree, if you're still here. So you start to realize, holy moly, this is some real deal stuff. And it's mad interesting. So, and the reason why it goes away is because I no longer need a scrum master. Thank you, Teresina. I know, that's my cousin, like I said, that there's no reason to have a scrum master lead a scrum. I can have everything into Jira. I can have Jira automated as well as infused with AI to have it give me everything that I need it to give me to drive that project forward. I can send these people emails, the people that are actually doing the work. I can just send them emails. I don't need to talk to them. They don't need to talk to a robot. I just need you to do this and just report it back in Jira. Done. Scrum Master, gone. Scrum Master, gone. Reporting, already in Jira. Jira, give me the standard reports for blah, blah, blah projects. Group them in a portfolio fashion. Bam. Budgeting, there are companies already using AI to create their budgets for technology, and they're doing it in a heartbeat. How many people is that really going to take? What level of skill do those people need? Because on the business side, they don't understand skill level. An entry-level Java developer can do the same job as a senior-level job developer. Do you want it done in 10 minutes or do you want it done in 10 hours? Just saying. Alan Turning's 1950 publication, Computing Machinery and Intelligence in 1953, author Samuel developed a computer that could learn to play checkers, demonstrating the possibility of machine learning. Yeah, that's the history. It's old history, but that's the originating piece. There are lots of movies out there that will show you how machines have been learning for a while. Computers being able to calculate things on their own. help to put men on the moon, women in space. Think about reaching Mars. Why do they want to go to Mars? Oh, because they're already draining this planet of all its natural resources. That's why. Insane, right? AI. Okay. Global reskilling investment. Governments and companies are projected to invest about $500 billion annually in workforce retraining by 2030. So when I tell you that Microsoft and all these companies are investing in that in India, that's when you should be, if you're in this country, you should be annoyed. You should be annoyed. You should be flabbergasted, aghast, passing out from that news, because how come you're not spending that $500 million here? Sorry, $500 billion here. Huh? Say what now? Now you see where I'm going with this. U.S. policy responses. The U.S. Department of Labor has allocated $2.5 billion for AI-focused reskilling programs, all happening by the end of 2025. However, there's another piece in the current bill, now you know why I keep bringing it up to you, that says that, oh yeah, by the way, we're going to, not put any rules or regulations around artificial intelligence for the next 10 years. Pandora's box has already been opened. If we don't get guardrails around it right now, there are certain inevitabilities. You can look those up yourself. But there are certain inevitabilities if we don't place those guardrails here now. And even with those guardrails, there's going to be some nefarious character that's going to go do it anyway. And that's the part where machines can think for themselves, direct themselves. Wow. You ever hear how AI has lied? Full-chested. Lied. They call it hallucination. I call it lying. There are machines right now. There was a video out of China that showed a machine going haywire because it was already fighting back. Yeah. It had its own self-interest first. I'm smiling, but I'm not happy about it. I'm almost laughing at the ignorance. There comes a point where people need to learn about AI from just a survival perspective. What's the unpredictable? Do the unpredictable, right? If all came to worst case scenario, you would do the unpredictable. And they all, in all those movies, they say, oh, if you do what it doesn't predict you'll do, then da-da-da-da, blah, blah, blah. But it hasn't predicted what you're going to do. It's placed chances on what it thinks you're going to do next. That doesn't mean that it hasn't already thought about what you could do, all of the possibilities. Can man still be computer at chess? Yes. But not many will be able to do that. Huh. So if you do this and I do this and you do this and I can play the whole game by myself before our first move. So I know the chances of your first move being this, your second move being that, your third move being this. Oh, you changed your fifth move. Oh, now that changes my calculations. Let me go do that. Boom. Within a split second, I know all the moves that you could possibly make from now. So I do that. So it gets harder and harder and harder. But now we're talking about three-dimensional chess. So if you've got a job and there's anything administrative to it, what I expect you to do is go back and say to yourself, what are the administrative chores that I have to do? I have to do reports and presentations for the higher ups that don't ever take the time to actually understand or take a deep dive into what, my job is and what this project is about or whatever. Again, speaking from a project management, portfolio management perspective. All of that can be automated. I've now taken away about 50% of my job. That's right. The bulk of your time isn't actually managing the project. The bulk of your time is preparing reports and presentations to explain to people the status of your project because they choose not to read. I can program AI and automation to kick out daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly reports based on the kind of project it is. A this long project, a this long project, a this long project, an enterprise level project, a low level project, whatever. And it will know the level of reporting that needs to happen, who needs to receive X reports, and over time understand who is actually receiving those reports and how they prefer to take information in. Interesting, no? Very interesting, if you ask me. So I look at that and I go to people, please learn. The EU AI Act, first regulation on AI in June of 2024, and it is crap. How about automating serial language reports? Cuzzo, go in the corner. You immediately get sent to the corner because only I know what that means. You get to go in the corner. It's an inside joke between me and my cuz. But you have people, you have executives that sit in executive level roles, but are not managers and not leaders. And so they need to be spoon-fed reporting. You know who they are. You've seen them. You know who they are. But that's the bulk of your administrative work. What other work do you do that you can say, can you look at work and say, that could be automated, that could be automated. If I had AI, I'd be able to do this and this, that, and the other, blah, blah, blah. That would take you to doing your job in less than, what, an hour a week? You think I'm playing? I'm not. Humans like to touch reports. So I do a report, I give it to my client. My client looks at that report and says, I like it, but do this. But meanwhile, I gave them the same exact report, just with updated information for this week that I did last week. But change this. Why? Because they just want to put their thumbprint on it. They just want to be involved. AI would take that unnecessary involvement and throw it out the door. It's not about presenting to you. It's about giving it to you in a way that you can understand. If you can make that suggestion, that means you understood it. Next. Instead of judging the presentation, judge the information that's actually in the document. And I can quickly make a change to AI to accommodate that, and it'll all be automated across the whole organization. Done. Standardized. Every Wednesday, 9 a.m., I'm going to walk in the door and there's my presentation. There's my bulleted report. Bam, done. I got it. Boom. I'm ready to make a decision. Paralegal jobs are already obsolete. Look at LegalZoom. The business model of LegalZoom is they go out to, think about the federal government. Here are all the forms that you would need to fill out for the common things that people use. I want to file a patent, a trademark, a company name, this, that, the other. Got it. Now, I bring that down to the state level. I bring that down to the municipality level. I grab all the forms, and now I know what's in those forms that needs to be filled out. And I give you a common interface that collects all that information, and now I can throw that into each one of those forms. Like that. Something that used to take this long now takes this long. And that's just automation. That's not AI. AI is looking at all of that information, putting it together, thinking about it, and then telling you what you should do strategically as a business. Oh, you should go create this LLC if you plan on buying that company. These are the things that you should be taking advantage of. Right? So this is why I say go learn about AI. It's not difficult. All the information that's out there is free. It's available. Just understand the difference between what's being cloud-based, that's free. It's not free. They're taking your information. What you're paying for it, should be free. They're still taking your information. And what could be hosted on your own machines, that becomes free, and you keep your information. Do you upgrade your skills? I was speaking with a very close friend of mine, and she wants to switch industries. And I'm like, oh, you want to switch industries? Let's start to break down what your skill set is. Not what your resume says, but what your skill set is. Let's analyze that. I take your resume, I throw it into AI, and I say, AI, give me the skill set of this person. What would be interesting is when I give them that resume, it says, these are the classes that I've taken over the past little while to maintain this. AI knows that to maintain your PMP certification, you've got to educate yourself 60 PDUs or 20 PDUs per year for 3 years. Every 3 years, you've got to come up with, ongoing training and proof thereof. Same thing for a Scrum Master, which means that you are capable of learning and retaining that education. I take all of that into account, and I now give you, here are your skills. And now, looking at my skills, please tell me what jobs in the current day can my skills match? Bam. You don't know how to think like that? Ask some friends. Maybe they know how to think like that. I know how to think like that. I can help you out with that. Part of my company, we do that, except we're doing it at company levels, but we do it on a personal basis. But we do it at company levels where we're looking at the skill set of your whole organization, what your business is, where your business has been, where your business is right now, and where your business is going. And we can tell you, these are the areas that your business should be moving in based on the current skill set. And if you make these adjustments to the skill set that resembled within your business would be able to do this, and you have these choices, and here's the monetary income or the income that you'd be able to make going forward. Oh, now that's interesting. Take you minutes to do that. Imagine if you had that in your own house. That information isn't being fed to another machine, but you're using it locally. Imagine that. I do want to have a passive income generator besides staking. Okay, that's good. I don't understand what that means here. What's your actual statement? What are you actually trying to get at? I'm still cracking up, Cuzzo. The serial language reports. You're killing me. You're killing me. Right? So let's walk away with some key metrics. Total global workforce, 3.8 billion people around the globe currently working as of 2023. We can go get new numbers, but just to give you a thumbprint, U.S. 164 million. It's about half the United States. Remember, the other half are kids. 14% estimated job displacement by 2030. 532 million people globally. About 23 million people within the United States. And I'm going to tell you that number is incredibly low. That number is low now. Only 14%. That's incorrect. There's new reporting out. I just didn't have time to grab it over there. But that numbers, what I'm saying to you is the displacement of 23 or 14%, that number is low. Now imagine 14%, that means 14% unemployment. Let that wrap around your head for a minute. We're talking about unemployment. 14% across the globe. Meaning using AI to take profits and seek perfect sell times, you're not going to be able to do that. It'll help you. Remember I told you about my boy Elliot? He's got several bots that already do that. That's nothing new. Go to Thinkorswim, and you've got tons of people building bots to be able to do that for you, and it's all automated within the Thinkorswim system. There are lots of systems that have it. NinjaTrader has it, which is now Kraken. There are lots of systems that have that programmability that will enable you to do that. But you've got to understand how to build those things and how to manage those things going forward and how to make adjustments on the fly so that you don't misinterpret things. Remember, the stock market is actually, run by bots. They think they do things and they get adjusted by humans. Just saying. Just saying. Surely there that is already being, yeah, not just skilled people, but yeah. Now with AI, I can actually write those scripts myself. I can have AI help me. The scripts will run. I'll be able to get reports and all that good stuff. The smartest people in the world can build those things, and they still need to be adjusted. Why? Because nothing's perfect. Things change things. So when you look at the stock market is definitely driven by bots and numbers and charters and all that good stuff. Just remember, all the charters are not human. So when one bot starts to move, everybody starts to move, all the bots start to move, blah, 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 until, holy smokes, wait a second, somebody realizes that the market is making a mistake, and they go making a change to their bot. Their bot now reacts differently, and then there's a chain. And when I say there's a chain, I mean there's a chain of events that happen after that helps to move the other bots. So you see market swings. Okay, then you get the talking heads on television that are telling you this is why the market is swinging and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. When I hear rich people talking about, how jobs are going to be done and how this is done, how that is done, and, GDP was affected and it was positive for everybody because rich people made money, it was affected positively. No, it wasn't. So the same thing with bots. It works differently. It works incredibly differently. Economic growth from AI by 2030, $7 trillion, or about 1.5% of GDP around the world, $1.2 to $1.5 trillion, or about 2% of GDP in the United States by 2030. But where is that GDP happening? Which is why I was talking about this before. Where does that GDP happen? It happens up here to the people that can afford to invest. Most people in the United States cannot afford to invest, and they are a part of that 14% or 23 million people that are now unemployed and growing. Here's an idea. If you go to growmybag.tv, you'll see articles. You'll see the images of those articles. Those images suck. They suck. Are you there for the image? No, not at all. You're there for the information. You're there for the information. And if you're not there for the information, you have no reason to be there. I'll say it like that. This community is not for the lighthearted, the weak. It's there for people that want information. So we'll all get a good giggle out of the artwork that's there because the artwork doesn't freaking matter, right? But in a very little while, that artwork is going to get way better because we have a new system that we're using and we're seeing it. I can give you a flash of that new system. Let's go do this. So this system right here, these are two images that were created by AI. This is the system that created that image. Right? So let me zoom in on what I asked it. I want a middle-aged Indian woman sitting at a desk. Okay. I want a middle-aged black woman sitting at the desk. And then I click run. You're gonna go on this ride with me. This is AI, by the way. It kicks off. It's 1:59 p.m. Right? Because AI is sleeping right now, so literally it's waking up and it's saying, "Oh, I have to go load this." You see how far it's gotten? Boom! This image changed. This image looks like this. That's not bad. That's not a bad image. You see the Apple logo back there? This seems, you got the tablet, another monitor over here. Wow. Okay, not a bad image. You come back and you say, well, Eddie, how come there are two images? Oh, because it's simple. This image got tightened up. And you'll see small little changes, better fingers. You'll see the long keyboard. There's some kind of a monitor over here. Looks weird, but not really when you think about how my desk is set up. I've got two monitors here, two monitors there. That's a 65-inch. This is a 50-inch. And these are both 36-inch monitors. Oh, and then I have my laptop right here, which is a 15-inch? Yeah, 15-inch laptop. So 3 immediate monitors right here. So that's not a weird setup. I told it I want a wood panel office. Oh, nice. With a black woman sitting at the desk. I've been talking to you, so you didn't notice that this actually happened within a minute. It happened way less than a minute, right? But it went through this whole process and created that. These images look almost real, don't they? That's AI. I was able to bang that out like that. Just saying. I can put any kind of news article on this. Any kind of investment commercial can start with this. Just saying, just putting that out there for you. That's why often the crypto market moves so fast that normal people barely can react to dumps, etc. Exactly. It's a big joke that I tell you guys, oh, I'm up at 3 o'clock, 3:30 in the morning. I go use the bathroom. I come back, I grab my phone, I look at everything. Yeah. I was able to take advantage of a Toncoin move, right? It had shot up on the announcement of a deal. And then I immediately read, holy smokes, it was a premature deal. I'm going to sell right now. I sold all of my Toncoin, flipped it into Pax G. And then the news about Toncoin actually not having a deal, it was too premature, and it went down. Oh, I was already up on Toncoin, but I was up and I was able to take care of that. Now imagine if I actually had AI and automation turned on. AI and automation would have taken care of that for me. It would have seen that news, reacted to that news, reacted to that micro event because it was pinpointed to a specific value or specific asset, and it was able to pinpoint and act on it. Yeah, there are bots that can do that. Like I said, Elliott has bots that do that. Stocks, bonds, options, crypto, it can all happen fast. So when I talk to you about bots being on pump.fun, you look at those bots and you're kind of like, oh, wait a minute. That's right. Those bots are creating fake transactions, driving up volume, driving up a story. BS. Thank you very much. And you sit there and you kind of go, holy moly. Now that's different. Wow. And so on that launch platform, you cannot react, as quickly as those bots can, as those bots are. Those bots are there to get your attention. Now they've gotten your attention. 50 to 80% of the action that happens on pump.fun is fake. It's bots. And then the rest of those transactions, anywhere between 20 and 50% of those transactions are reactions to those bots by human beings being manipulated. Aha. So the more that you understand about technology and how it can be leveraged, the more that you can take advantage of having that knowledge. This AI conversation wasn't just about AI. It was a wake-up call to you. AI has already created digital immortality. I checked in on it, and they wanted 30 a month until I die. I don't know what that means. Digital. Okay, now I know what you mean. Yep. Took me a minute to go back into the recesses of my mind and grab it, but yep. Hey, y'all. Yo, Esco, what's going on? Until an hour in. What you need to do is become a member, and then you'll get and turn on notifications. But all my members knew about it. It's just that I've got to do it at a time where I think people are going to hop on, and it's convenient to me because I've got stuff to do. I should be outside in the yard, throwing down some seed and all that good stuff. There's just a lot. There's just a lot going on. Just saying, there's a lot. So yeah, when I think about what's going on and how it's happening and all that good stuff, AI is a big piece, automation along with it. So I create automations to go grab information that I then give to AI. AI then takes that information and tells me what transactions I could make against my portfolio because it's got that information. And it can say, oh, this is the current value of your portfolio. Here's the current news. Here are the current numbers for each one that's in your portfolio. And this is what I think you could do. That's all something you can do right the hell now. Right now. I mean, heck, I could have my team build AI nodes for you and send them to you. And you'd be like, damn, but you've got to learn about it. Because wants her own AI, set up in her house. And I'm like, yeah, that doesn't cost a lot. It'll cost less than $1,000 to put all that together. Not bad. And that's the system that she just wants to plug into her existing laptop. And here's her AI node, and she just wants to plug it in, boom, ready to rock. Yeah, AI, some YouTube creators are using AI to create content. Yeah, but you got to wonder about what content they're creating. All of my content is based on, I've done this research, I've done this, and I have AI use my writing voice to create an article that I then come back and approve or disprove and make changes, have it fix it, and then come back and, okay, I approve that one, boom, and it goes. Human touch. But I could probably bang out 10 articles a day if I had to, stretched. But I'm probably about somewhere between 10 and 15x because of my use of technology, my leveraging of automation, AI to get things done. I have AI in my house. I don't tell my house to turn on the lights. My house knows that, oh, the sun is going to go down at this time and not everybody is home. Let me turn on the porch lights. I know Eddie's going to get into his office at about this time. I currently know that he's in the kitchen. Let me get the video set up and everything going. Let me turn on the news for him. Let me get the proper lighting for his computer ready. I can even wake up his computer for him. And when he sits down, the video camera will log him in and boom, he's off to the races. He's ready. He's sipping his coffee while his computer is logging him in. Because I have a need to utilize all of my time to its maximum. The only time you'll catch me sleeping is when my body actually needs to rest. But even in my sleep, I'm thinking. As we all should be. We should be thinking. Just because you're sleeping doesn't mean you're thinking. Sounds crazy, right? But true. Did I miss anybody? I've got that one. Red Stars saying hello to Esco. So we've covered a lot. That system, oh my God, that is so beautiful. There's a crane that basically, I think there's a family of crane that basically live on my property. They hang out here. This is their hangout. They must live someplace nearby and just straight up just come here to hang out. It's kind of cool. Kind of a beautiful nature thing. But yeah, I've shown you AI in here now. So when you hear about Hutanic talk about UBI, Universal Basic Income, this is why he's talking about it. I can transform almost any business, right? I do process engineering. My team does it. It's an additional skill set that we have. So I can walk into a business, recognize its crucial processes, and then I can say, what part of these processes can be automated? What part of these processes throughout the organization, throughout the business, can leverage AI to do better? That's the whole point. So, have I answered all your questions about AI? I think I have. You probably have more, but you'll hit me in the comments and let me know if there's more. Today's question, as usual, was, have you invested in yourself today? 77% said yes, and the other 23% said doing it right now. That's great. I love to see it. Love to hear it. Everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do me a favor, smash the likes, tell your people about this particular area, because our community is like no other. We care about each other learning so that we can each grow our own bags. And if you want more, let me know what topics you would like me to speak about, and I will gladly add them to the special topic list and put together shows like this. All right? Thanks, Cuzzo. Everybody, have a great rest of your day. I will be pumping out more articles later. I've done some research. There's more news out there that I'm going to share. Don't know if I'm going to do an afternoon video. I probably won't. And we'll see each other tomorrow during the Sunday Roundup. Maybe. I know tomorrow for the big baggers at 1 p.m., we've got the big bagger meeting. And you have to be a big bagger to actually take advantage of that. So if you want to become a big bagger, go to growmybag.tv/sign-up, become a big bagger, and you will be invited to tomorrow's private video conference call where we all sit down and talk about everything right now. Oh my God, Red Star, thank you so much. Oldit, he had a question. Is Toncoin still a viable play? And thank you for the good AI talk. Yes, absolutely. I believe it is a good, viable play. I just saw an immediate opportunity to take advantage of. So will I be buying more Toncoin in the future? Yes. But the idea was that I was completely in the black on Toncoin. Then it shot up again based on the deal that they said was going on. Then we found out that the deal was not going on. I was able to sell my Toncoin, right? That had gotten an additional bump, sell all of it, and buy Pax G. That I'll just sit on. And I'll get back into Toncoin at some point. But it was an excellent opportunity for me to go, oh snap, I'm all about it. I'm in on it. So I was able to capitalize. So me capitalizing on that opportunity again, I found out about that news in the middle of the night. Nobody was up. It was like 3:30 in the morning. Nobody was up yet. Nobody was aware yet. It hadn't really hit. Because normally I look at articles and I go, oh, snap. Yeah, I see this. I see news over here. And then I see like 5 other reports that happen. And it's all about the same news. Great. Nobody had picked up on that yet. It was one news article. It was one news article, and I was like, oh, damn. It had the quotes and everything. Saw the information, was able to look at the quotes, go over to X and see, yep, he said that, bam. And I moved quick. It was just an opportunity. I have nothing against Toncoin. I actually like Toncoin. For the record, no, they don't pay me anything. I wish they would come over here and advertise, but yeah, no, they don't pay me anything. So yeah, Red Star, I hope that answers your question. We have the likes now. Rick Ritchie, thank you so much, man. Everybody, this is Eddie J on crypto for growmybag.tv. Hope you like what I'm doing. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your patience. And absolutely, thank you for your trust. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.